Hello, friends. Hope everyone's feeling good. I got a new pair of boots, and we're gonna unbox them. Unboxings are always kind of wild here, camera angles and all, but I am so pumped about these boots. This was a unnecessary purchase, a last minute purchase. Didn't pre-order these, don't need these, but I'm so grateful I was able to get these for. It was the price. It was totally the price. Like full price, I would admire these boots, but I just don't need them at all. But this is from Kimosabi out in Colorado, and they're Rios Mercedes boots. These will be my third Rios Mercedes, and so let's get after it. Look at that. Okay, did not need the 110 for that. Okay, so these are Kudu, Roughout, leather, waxed. See if there's any important information here. Just a receipt. It's funny, you always go, oh, they were so cheap, and then you look at it, you're like, that's a lot of money. But they were, I don't know, 80% off or something. Look at that. Okay. Kimosabi. Let me just get rid of this box here. Bear with me. Okay, these are, yeah, Kimosabi's a great freaking store. They've gotten me into, all three of my Rios and Mercedes boots are from them, and they've got me into some really, really nice Rios. I've got just a great rough out on nubuck, kind of lighter leather with a mini lug sole. I did a review of both those together. And then football leather from Horween, which is a really, really cool leather, or baseball glove leather. I always mix those up, but it's baseball glove leather. That would look kind of weird, football leather. It's been done. I've seen it. Not for me, at least on boots. On a football, sign me up. Okay, very nice, tightly packaged. And, okay. Here we freaking go. First look. First look. All right, let me get this out of the way. Oops, sorry. Okay. These are nice. These are really nice. Okay. Oh. Huh. Look at that. What's going on there? My cat's pretty pumped about the new box. As you know, this is an unboxing, an exciting day for both of us. Okay. So a very, very light wax. You could still see just a lot of the nap. Very, very lightly waxed. Rios. Now I know these will fit. At least they should. You know, I've a few others in the same size. With Rios or Mercedes, I always size. I don't want to say up. Like I size just based on what my sneaker is, not my boot size. Okay, let's check this one out. Yeah, this is a wax kudu leather from CF Stead, and it's super, super classy leather. Very, very nice. It almost like it airs because it's from Stead. It feels more of like kind of a fine suede, except that panel is a lot rougher, and you could see a bit more of that veiny kudu stuff. But then this, yeah, okay, there you go. That looks super waxed and burnished. The sander must have hit that, or something. Well, maybe it's just more wax, more nap down. These are beautiful. You know, I'm you kind of go, oh, I don't need these, but I want them. They're a really, really pretty boot. I've got essentially the same boot in brown, you know, in that baseball glove leather, but I don't have any like waxed rough out kudu. I don't think I have any kudu leather at all right now. I had a really nice Parkhurst one. I've had the Trumans. But these actually might be my only kudu leather, which is really super special. 1093.96. That doesn't tell me much. 109651. Yeah, just some stamp numbers on the inner, but really really nice. Really nice glove leather lining. Decent, not the finest lining, but certainly, these retail for close to $1,000. Um, and I don't know enough about cowboy boot construction. These are made in Rios, Texas. Rios or Mercedes. They're made in Rios, Texas. No, they're made in Mercedes, Texas. Apologies. Um, and they're made beautifully. Goodyear welt, really really nice. I want to say 270, but it's almost a little bit less than a 270. Well, look at that beautiful shelf. I love like a clean, thick veg tan leather shelf. Yeah, leather stacked heel. Rios is great at just like kind of making an authentic Texas cowboy boot, but also making it just a bit more accessible. So here you've got the partial rubber in place of the full leather sole, but you still have just that classic, the lemonwood pegs. And Rios to me just makes it's like pardon me, they make a more authentic boot than say Tecovas or any of these kind of mass made boots. I mean, they're they're an old school cowboy boot shop. They're a small shop. They've been open for a long, long time, but they still have for a lot of their roper boots, at least, they've got a kind of a comfy insole. I don't know if you could, yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that, but yeah, they've got like just a foam topped kind of semi-removable insole. And their goals, like, no, these are work boots, that they should be comfortable, and we want folks to work in them. Beautiful detail. Like, and there's something, all their construction feels, it's not perfectly fine, and I imagine if I was a stickler, I don't know, if I paid $1,000 for these, and I don't know, I mean, are they worth that? Like, yeah, yes and no. I mean, they're incredibly made boot. They'll last you a very long time. Perhaps I would find more fault in the clicking, in just some of the rough. There's a little like, why didn't they burn off that extra stitch? But I don't. I mean, I genuinely don't care at all. But I'm just trying to like be a little bit more objective, and I just have a soft spot for Rios, I think, because they feel like my in for cowboy boots. Like they're my only and like my perfect into the cowboy boot world. Because they're not too intense. They make a great roper that still has lots of style, that still feels like a cowboy boot, but is just super comfortable. You can throw it on, and they don't have the dramatic high heel. Their toes aren't, ridiculously pointy. They're just a very, very like, they strike a great balance. Balance comes up a lot in talking about these boots. It's like, I want the nicest boot in the world that I can also at least justify price wise, and that has the right heritage and all that, but I could still just get away with wearing it. I've got some gnarly, crazy boots, but then every boot you own should strike some sort of balance. But there's something to, no, I'm going to get the craziest cowboy boots. I mean, there's some, the handmade cowboy boot world is just absolutely incredible. Like Lisa Sorrell, all those, like, we're talking like $10,000 boots. So these are not that. They're small workshop, very small factory made cowboy boots here in Texas. Not here in Texas. I'm not in Texas, but in Texas, they're made with beautiful leathers. They mess around with all kinds of leathers. They make stuff for Double RL. They make stuff for a few other shops, and yeah, they feel old school. They're semi-affordable. I mean, even you'll find the Double RL line on sale for like $600-700. That's still a lot. I wouldn't do that, but I could understand and respect someone doing that. They're kind of worth it. These were a whole lot less. Kimosabi will run some wild sales every once in a while, and that's when I show up. That's when I'm a Kimosabi customer. I'm like, hey, that's 80% off. Okay, let's do it. They actually have a buffed elephant skin boot now that's also on sale, and I kind of want to get it, but I also like don't. Even though it's like an ethical harvest of elephants, it's still freaking elephant leather. So I just can't do it. I don't want elephant leather in my home. I just love elephants so much. They're the most beautiful thing. They are endangered, even though yeah, again, the leather is sourced the leather is sourced ethically. It's from animals that need to be culled. All the meat is used, nothing goes to waste, neither should the leather. However, I can't do it. But all that to say, there's like $1,000 elephant skin boot that's made in Texas that you could get for like $250 or something right now. So that's wild, you know. And they're only in some random sizes. But they still have a few other boots that are, you know, really decent sales. There's like a Cayman Cayman crocodile, or no, Cayman's not neither, right? It's neither crocodile nor alligator. It's its own thing. Is that right? Is that wrong? Yeah, they've got just some really wild boots for relatively cheap. Anyway, so this is that. You know, I wanted a Kudu wax leather boot. Will I keep these? Yeah, I don't want to sell these. I just really, really like these. I like their boots. I wear them whenever I'm like going out to a nicer dinner. I'll just throw on, but I'm feeling semi lazy. I don't know. That's when I'll throw on a pair of Rios. I don't know, just a certain feeling of like, okay, I want to be a little bit more Western today. You know, I don't wear them to work. They're nice boots to me. They're too fine. But I think it's really cool that some people do and that you can. So yeah, freaking Rios or Mercedes, waxed Kudu Roughout leather. They don't say a ton about it, but you know, they're stunning. This is a stunning, rugged. It's just a stunning, rugged Western boot. You know, they are Roper boots, but they have that flair of a cowboy boot. They certainly don't have that kind of like very rounded out, boring, dull Roper look. You know, that some kind of more modern Ropers will have. And those are cool. Those serve their purpose. Those I would wear more to work. But these feel, they're pretty much cowboy boots, but with just, you know, slightly lower shaft, slightly lower heel, slightly less intense toe, and the kind of friendlier outsole, I should say. But that's really beautiful. Does the other, let's see, does the other boot have that? Is that yeah? That's like a huh. Does that say anything? Does it say Kimosabi? It'd be cool if one of them said Kimo, the other one said Sabi, but that looks like an H. What am I looking at? And I don't know. Huh. But yeah, look at those beautiful lemonwood pegs. Really, really nice work. But you know, like, that's not perfectly clean. It's not supposed to be. I don't care. But maybe I would care if, pardon me. Maybe I'd care if I was spending $1,000. But thankfully I'm not, and I won't be. You know, maybe someday I'll make a whole bunch of money. Nah, I don't need the handmade cup. Those are works of art. They're beautiful. Really, really nice. Beautiful boot. Yeah, they've got a lot of like green. They have a green Kudu, wax Kudu Roughout. They have like kind of a lot of the Rambler leathers from CF Stead. They've got all kinds of fun leathers. So yeah, check them out, Kimosabi, and yeah, super grateful to be able to get into just for me what feels like a semi high end cowboy boot, but that's still just so wearable. I think that's really what it comes down to is like I feel like I'm wearing a beautiful work of art that is a great traditional cowboy boot, but they're just so comfortable. They're so wearable. And you know, could literally just throw them on any time, and they feel comfortable right out of the box, as some people say, which is always a red flag. You're like, all right, is it going to get less comfortable? Are you going to break them out? But these, you know, the Rios are just they're made perfectly. I really like how they're made. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.